Hello everybody, and welcome back to Tbsp Kitchen. Welcome to those of you who are new to my channel. I'd like to ask, if you have not subscribed, how about clicking on the subscription button? Give me a thumbs up if you enjoy the video, and don't forget to leave me a comment. I'll reply back to you. And don't forget to click the notification bell so that you will be alerted when I post a new video. Today I'm going to be making a jam, a fig jam that my granddaughter Ruthie made. They said it was delicious. I didn't get to eat any of it because they ate it all before I could get there. So I have 2 large fig trees in my yard. Clayton and I have been gathering the figs, and so I want to try this jam and see just how delicious it is. They have assured me that it's really good, so I'm taking their word for it. But I'm going to start, first of all, by showing you the list of ingredients that it takes to make this. So let's get this started. You will need a fruity, dry red wine, rosemary, fresh figs, fruit pectin, lemon juice, and cane sugar. Okay, the first thing that I need to do, the recipe tells me, is to steep my wine and my rosemary sprigs. So I am tripling my recipe. I'm going to pour my wine. I will post this recipe below in the description box. Okay, that's 4 cups of wine, and it will take 4.5 cups. And I will need 6 sprigs of rosemary. That makes 6. Okay, I have to bring this to a simmer, so I'm going to set this on the stove. I'm going to turn my burner on high for right now. This wine has been sitting in the refrigerator, so it's really cold, but I'm going to go ahead and boost the heat on up, and then I will reduce it down and let it come on up to a simmer at that point after it starts heating up. Okay, my wine and rosemary has to steep for 30 minutes. It has heated up to a simmer. I've turned the heat off, put the lid on the pot, and leave it on the stove and let it just steep for 30 minutes. So I've got my timer set. So now I'm going to start dicing up the figs. You're supposed to chop them up kind of fine. So I'm going to get those ready so when my wine gets through steeping, I can proceed with this. So I'll be back. Okay, my wine has finished steeping, and so now I have to take this and pour it up in a fine strainer. Let me rephrase that. Pour it through a fine strainer. Okay, now to the wine that I have strained, I'm going to add my figs, the pectin, and since I'm tripling the recipe, it's going to take 9 tablespoons of pectin, and the lemon juice. You have to stir this constantly. Bring it to a full rolling boil over high heat that you cannot stir down. Okay, it's come to a boil. It has to be a full rolling boil that you can't stir down, and so I think I'm there. And now I'm going to add my sugar to this and stir it until it dissolves, and bring it back to a rolling boil. Okay, it's coming to a rolling boil, and so now I'm going to let this cook for 3 minutes, stirring it constantly. I've got my timer set. Okay, that's been 3 minutes, and so now I'm going to set this off of the heat and skim off the foam that's on it. Okay, and now I will ladle this up into my jars. These will go process through a hot water bath. Okay, that didn't quite fill that jar, so I think we will eat off of that one. That tastes good. Okay, now I will put my lids and rings on these, and this will process in a water bath. Always wipe the rim of your jars to make sure there is nothing on them before you put your lids, so that they will seal. If you have anything on the mouth of it, it'll prevent it from sealing. Normally, I would heat my lids in boiling water to soften the rubber ring, but since I'm going to be processing this in a water bath, I don't find it necessary to do that. Okay, and I'll just place these in this pot of hot water. You want your jars to be covered with water, and I'm going to let them process for 10 minutes. I don't know if I can squeeze this last jar in. Let's see. Oh yeah, okay, perfect. I'll put a lid on this, I'll let it boil for 10 minutes, and then I'll take these out. So then I'll be back. Okay, the timer has just gone off, and so I'm going to take my jelly out of, or my jam, out of the hot water bath. Okay, they're already sealing. Okay, so my jelly is completed here. I had this much of a piece of a jar that we will just eat out of. So it has actually yielded, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8 pints, 8.5 pints to triple the recipe. So I will let these set up, and I will try later. I'll do a taste test for you out of this jar when it gets set up, and I'll let you know what my idea is on this jelly, or this jam. I'm sorry, I keep calling it jelly, but it's jam. I hope that it's good. It's really simple to make, and I will let you know possibly tomorrow after it has time to set up. So I have completed the rosemary and red wine fig jam, and it did not set. So I could have pretended like all this was great and skipped this step of showing you what to do to correct it, but I don't want to do that, because if you make this same mistake, I hope that I will be able to correct this, and it would also help you. So what I'm going to do now is to open all my jars and put my jam back in my pot. Now, I was using Sure Gel Pectin. I could not find this in the stores here locally where I live, but I found it in Jacksonville when I went to the doctor this week, and it's the girl that had posted this recipe she recommended using the ball Real Fruit Classic Pectin, and so I didn't have it, and I used what I had. And it may have been an error on my part. Maybe I didn't add enough, because I did triple the recipe. But my daughter-in-law said that when my granddaughter made it, she just used regular Pectin, like Sure Gel, and hers turned out okay. So maybe I didn't put enough. I thought I did. But I'm going to redo it, and let's see how that turns out. So I'm going to get started now by putting my jam back into the pot. and bringing it up to a heat so that it will boil, and then I will add this pectin to it. So let's get this started now. Now that I have opened this jar that I didn't have enough to fill the jar, I'm not too sure. Heather said that Ruthie's was not, it was not like jelly. It was not set hard. It was kind of lumpy. And this looks to be kind of lumpy. So I don't know. Maybe it is okay. But it surely does look to be. I'm going to take it out. I think I would just feel better to redo it. So it is just really too soupy. I think the overall jar should be like that that's on the very top there, like that. And the rest of it is just way soupy. I'm going to go ahead and turn my heat on so that it can start heating up. That gets all the jars emptied out. Okay, while this is coming up to a boil, I will have to keep it stirred the entire time, especially now because it already has had the fruit pectin put in and it would scorch really easily. When this comes to a full rolling boil that I can't stir down, then I will take this off the heat and add my pectin to it and then put it back on the heat and cook it for 3 minutes. Okay, it is in a full rolling boil. And so now I'm going to take this off of the heat. I'm going to add my pectin to this. Now the recipe called for 3 tablespoons per recipe, and I tripled it, but I'm not going to do 9 tablespoons since I already have pectin in here. I think I will do maybe about 6. I may make a real mess with this. I don't know. Okay, that's 6 tablespoons. And so now I have to return it back to the heat, bring it back up to a boil, and let it boil then for 3 minutes. You want to stir this constantly, otherwise it's going to stick and it's going to burn. I'm going to go ahead and start my timer because it's already boiling. Okay, my 3 minutes is up, so I'm going to take this off the heat, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to dip this up into my jars. Now I have not washed my jars. I'm just going to put it right back in, and I will have to clean the rim really good, but I think this is going to work because it already seems to be a little different to me. It seems to have a thicker consistency to it already. I'm going to stop at that. It didn't yield out as much cooking it the second time. I don't know why that is. I want to clean the rim really well. You want to tighten those down. Good. Now you're to process this, like I said in the earlier part of the video, you process this in a water bath for, I think it was 20 minutes. I'll have to look on my recipe. And then you're to turn the heat off, and I didn't mention this in the earlier, but you take the heat, turn the heat off and let it set for 5 minutes in the water bath before you take them out. Always before, when I've made jams and jellies, I've never done a water bath. I just cook it and jar it, and it seals, and then we eat it. But this particular recipe calls to water bath it. So I'm trying to do it like the recipe says. But this is going to work this time. I can tell by this consistency that it's going to be fine. Okay. Now I'm going to put these in a water bath and get that going. Okay, the timer has just gone off on my water bath, and so I'm going to turn the heat off and let this sit. I'm going to slide it off the heat because with this glass top it continues to cook, and so I'm just going to take it off of that and let it sit in the hot water for 5 minutes. It was actually 10 minutes that you have to water bath it, not 20. So 10 minutes in the water bath and 5 with it sitting there, and then I'll take it up. I took the extra that was left over in my pot when I cooked the jam, And it looks like it's gonna work this time. You can see that it has gelled and looks more like jam. That is the consistency that it should be. And it was not that before. So it was successful with adding the other pectin in. While this is sitting until I get ready to take those up, I want to share with you, in the last video I told you I was going back to the doctor. I thought I had an infection in my breast. And so I went back on Tuesday. Today's Friday. I went on Tuesday and I got a great report. There was no infection. It actually turned out to be what we believe was inflammation. My husband's brother had died. The Saturday was a week before. And no, I'm sorry, he died on Monday, the week before. And that Saturday, we were taking supplies to their house from our church, and Clayton had taken the church cooler, which was one of those great big jobbers. I think it's like 130 quart or something like that, and he filled it with ice. And he says he could have loaded it. I felt like he needed help, and without thinking, I helped him lift that cooler, which he said weighed at least 200 pounds, and put it into the back of our car, which was a grave mistake on my part. After I had done that, a little later that afternoon, I started feeling real tender in my breast. And it was the next morning that it was red. And I told him, I said, I hope I have not messed up by lifting that cooler, helping you lift it. I said, I am afraid I'm developing infection in this breast. And they thought that it was when I went to the doctor and saw the PA that morning. And then I had to go back 2 days after that. And I actually told her at that point that I had lifted that chest. I had got to thinking about it that morning, and I thought, you know, I wonder if this is inflammation from doing that. And I think that's actually what it turned out to be. Of course, they had me on 2 antibiotics, but I had also started taking meloxicam, which is an anti-inflammatory, because I got to thinking maybe that's what it was, and it cleared it up. So I am just thankful for that. And I went back and saw my plastic surgeon then on day before yesterday. I can't keep up with the days of the weeks anymore. It was on Wednesday. And I got a good report, and he wants to see me back in 4 more weeks. And from that point then, I should be able to call myself home free. But anyway, I just wanted to let you know what's going on with me, and that's what it is. So thank you for your prayers, and thank you for your support. And I cannot tell you again how great it feels to me to be here doing what I really enjoy doing. So with that being said, my timer has 1 minute left, and I can take up the jam and let it cool, and then I will do a taste test for you a little. Well, you know what? I think I may go ahead and do it. I may make me a piece of toast and do a taste test for you. So let me, there's my timer. Let me get these out of the water. They're already sealing, and them sitting here in the water bath. My little girls are having their little gamut in there playing. I'm just wiping the excess water off of the lid. And then when these cool, I will write on here what it is and the date. Okay, I've made me a piece of toast, and so I'm going to take this jam, put it on, and I'm going to do a taste test for you. My daughter-in-law, like I said, she has assured me that this is delicious. So, we're going to give it a try. Here is to you, Rosemary red wine fig jam. So, let's give it a try. That is very good. Oh my goodness, one more bite. That is really, really good. The hardest thing about this is chopping up your figs. And that's not hard. Oh my goodness, that's really good. I wish you all could have a bite and taste it. With that being said, I'm going to finish this piece of toast. So, until we see each other again, I hope that you will leave me a comment, give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not subscribed, and don't forget to click the notification bell so you'll be notified when I upload a new video. And until the next time, I am Beba, saying may the Lord bless and keep you and your family safe. And until we see each other again, you have a great day, and I'll see you really soon. Bye.